Okay, so now I'm going to play another little piece. I guess it comes under the jazzish category. Um, how many of you remember um, Nat King Cole? Okay, yeah. I mean, he was just a great player, great singer, and what I didn't realize he was also a great pianist. In fact, that's what he first made his reputation on was playing piano, and so he kind of made this piece famous. It's called Nature Boy. Now, the interesting thing with this, with the story behind this, for me doing it, is this is an arrangement that the great jazz and classical bassist John Clayton made for solo double bass and a band. And one of my students last year at the Buffalo Grove High School played it. She played it beautifully. She played this. One of her friends arranged it. So I said, "Can I have the arrangement?" No, you're not allowed to have the arrangement. So she would not give me the arrangements. I just couldn't get it from her. I was at a convention this summer. I met John Clayton. I said, "John, my student played your piece. It was great, but she wouldn't let me have the arrangement." He just laughed. He said, "That's silly." He couldn't believe it. He said, "Yeah, get it." So I have it. Anyway, this is Nature Boy. You might recognize it. Nature Boy, arrangement by John Clayton. Thanks. Um, Interesting. One of the great things about being a professional musician, and this is something for if any of my colleagues are watching, they'll just roll their eyes because they've heard all these stories. I mean, because they've all experienced these same things. It's just great. We get to play. We get to play with some of the world's greatest musicians. I mean, I can say, and again, there's nothing that any of my colleagues haven't done. But I've played with Yo-Yo Ma. I've played with Itzhak Perlman. There's just I played concerts. It was a long time ago, but I played a concert with Danny Kaye. Just a whole string of people that we play. And the interesting thing is that these guys are just regular guys. They're great musicians, but they treat us as equals. I mean, they will make us feel as the backup orchestra that they couldn't have done it without us, and that they're thrilled to be playing with us. And it really is a really real big treat. So it brings me to a story. When I was at school in Philadelphia, one of the guys I was with was a clarinet player. He was there for like the first first half of the first year playing clarinet, but his calling was to be a jazz sax player, and he was phenomenal. Made a great career, Alex Foster. But what he found, he got wind that there was going to be a big jazz concert in the city. So a bunch of us got together and we went to go to this concert. And Alex brought along his sax because for those of you who sometimes have ever gone to some of the jazz clubs, some of the little more intimate jazz clubs, at the end of the day, or the end of the evening, sometimes they'll allow people to come in, the audience that bring their instruments, to sit in and jam with them. So you can jam with some of these great players. So Alex was told, bring your sax with. So we got there. Well, of course, we get there and we find out it's at the Spectrum in Philadelphia, and there's 15,000 people. Well, it's not likely they're going to be jamming at the end of this concert. And just for you jazz guys, if there's any jazz guys here, this is part of the lineup that night. Miles Davis, Dizzy Gillespie, Thelonious Monk, Maynard Ferguson, Weather Report. It was like a Hall of Fame lineup of the best jazz bands of the time. It was just one after the other. It was absolutely incredible. I don't know if that's happened again since. But anyway, but the thing was that when Alex was told, he says, if you get a chance to meet Dizzy, how many of you remember Dizzy Gillespie? Sure, okay. So Alex was told, if you ever meet Dizzy Gillespie, you say to him, knock, knock, and he will answer, who's there? And you'll say, 2:30. And Gillespie will say, better see a dentist. Bad joke, but that's your intro to Dizzy Gillespie. So some years later, I'm playing in the orchestra in Quebec City, and we're doing a jazz meets symphony concert. The guest artist is Dizzy Gillespie. So I got to do this. So before the concert, I knock on the dressing room door. Door opens, there's Dizzy Gillespie. Knock, knock. Who's there? 2:30. Better see a dentist. Who told you that? And he just starts to laugh, and it was just so funny because it was exactly what was supposed to happen. And I mean, he was a gem. And anyway, so it was just a fun little thing. But we get that a lot playing, in our travels.